let's do it. Welcome to Living, Breathing, and Having a Good Time. My name's Sierra, and today we have someone with a biomedical engineering and nursing degree, originally from Colorado, living down here in sunny Florida. He enjoys fishing and has struggled in the past over the last few years between COVID with mental health, etc. And today we're here to kind of explain how people can overcome hardships. So today I want to introduce Taylor Dustin. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
So we are going to discuss your background. So you're originally from Colorado, outdoorsy person.
Mm-hmm.
And you like being a handyman. You got 2 kids. You love to fish.
Mm-hmm.
So you're naturally in tune with Mother Nature and being happy and happy-go-lucky and getting into your career path as you did. And then kind of tell us what happened.
Well, I always like to help people. So I started in the emergency room about 10 years ago, and I really enjoyed my job. It was something that, I woke up, I was excited to get to see how I could help people that day. And over time, through a lot of death and hardships, I realized, that this job is quite hard, but I still do enjoy it. So I went back to school to get my nursing degree to become an emergency nurse, hopefully becoming a flight nurse. And
that's amazing.
Yeah, I graduated right before COVID, and I started in the emergency room because I had a good position. The managers liked me, and they offered me a position right out of nursing school. So once I started, it was only a couple months, and then COVID hit really hard.
Yeah, the years of COVID was really hard on nursing staff, doctors. I mean, it really affected Colorado quite differently from Florida. I mean, obviously Florida, we were pretty open. We were kind of shut down for like 8 weeks. You guys were shut down for how long?
We were shut down for months, really. I actually, my ex-wife and I, we let the grandparents pass the kids back and forth. So we didn't see our kids actually for almost 3 months.
Okay.
And that was really hard. We go to work, come home, empty house. It's like we were empty nesters already.
Yeah.
And
your kids are how old? They're pretty young, right?
Yeah, one's about to turn 7. She's a New Year's baby, and the other one's going to turn 3 in February.
Oh, wow. Okay. So it was, I'm sure it was pretty weird then.
It was.
Colorado, so when you were in the medical field, you were allowed to come and go. Obviously we had different rules down here. So when you would go into the hospital, you were working 12-hour shifts or?
It was more like 13, 14-hour shifts.
Consecutively?
Yeah, I actually did 6 on, 8 off. I was doing night shift, so really it's more like 7 on, 6 off. You don't even really recover on your days off, and all of a sudden you're back at work.
Yeah, so you had no time to decompress, constantly stressed out, whether you knew it or not, adrenally fatigued, eating bad, I'm sure, not eating at all. And pretty much, when people do that, I think a lot of the audience, we do this in society a lot where we just go. And we think we can tick like that over and over and over again, but we're human. And we've got to stop and go, we need to stay in bed for like 8 hours, get up and eat something healthy, drink more water, because it doesn't allow you to be happy if you're totally depleted, right? I mean, so your entire staff was just running on pretty much nothing.
Yeah, we were running on fumes for quite a while. Once things did start to kind of open up, the hospital didn't change. It was still slammed with patients all the time. It's like COVID kind of brought the crazy out in people.
It really
So
had.
we had a lot more mental health patients. We had a lot of, dumb drivers that
Mm-hmm.
would get into accidents over, supposedly nothing.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot more alcohol and drug-related patients, and, it was just constant, this battle of going to work, making no progress, going home without seeing the kids, and repeat.
So essentially, COVID created chaos, not only for everyone else around you, but in your life. So, so here you're not eating well, you're not sleeping well, you're not having family time. And whether or not, like I said before, your body is under stress, a lot of times as a medical professional, you just do it all over again and you're giving to everybody else. And PTSD is one of those things where a lot of people they're not even aware of it.
Mm-hmm.
So when did you actually initially start to figure out that something was wrong with you?
I feel like it even started before COVID. My first death that I had experienced was actually a police officer, Officer Stewart, from February 27th, 2014. Remember that day very well. I was actually called in to help the staff to, take care of other patients while a lot of our resources were put into that one person.
Right.
He unfortunately did not make it, and it was a very sad day for the emergency room. A lot of people knew the officer. A lot of people were friends with him, related to him. And me, just coming into that environment, I didn't really know a whole lot of the people. I was starting to build my work family.
Rapport. Yeah.
And so, me being the go-getter, I offered to help clean up the room and clean up the body. And that took hours.
Yeah.
And I mean, thinking about it now, I can still taste the copper. I can still taste it and smell it and see it. Now, granted, I've had a lot of therapy so that I can discuss it and talk about it without going into a phase where I break down and then all of the PTSD starts rolling. All of the patients, I'm able to do some maneuvers like the 5 senses or some tapping, EMDR.
EMDR is awesome, isn't it?
It really is.
I think everybody correlates PTSD with the military or like first responders, but you guys were first responders during COVID and essentially in your field, essentially in that emergency type situation, you see a lot and obviously you care about people. So, and people don't understand that when you care so much, you want to try and fix. And so for a lot of people that are struggling, especially in the medical field or elsewhere, what would you say has helped you the most? I mean, you talked about EMDR. A lot of people aren't familiar with that. What exactly is that?
So EMDR is, it's a guided maneuver with a licensed therapist you want them to be very good at what they do, because the idea is you create a happy place. You spend, a couple of weeks creating this happy place, and you do something similar like this, like you pat your knees, or, you move your eyes back and forth. And then once you develop your happy place, they take you to those bad places. So once they take you there, they guide you back to your happy place so that you can minimize the effects and deal with it. So I did that for several months, and it really did start to work. I got to the point where I was even doing it at work when something stressful would happen. Now, before that, I had something else I was going to say. Now I forgot it. But
but that's a really good proven point, though, is that you can take these tools with you, and especially in a situation where you're just beginning to say, like, hey, I have a problem.
mm-hmm.
I need to find a solution, which is not easy.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people that don't want to admit that they have problems. And you had an immense problem erupt.
Mm-hmm.
And tell us a little bit about that, because I met you and we discussed this over breakfast, and it was something that you can still tell, you can feel. There's a lot of emotion around that,
Mm-hmm.
because, like we were talking about, COVID created so much chaos and problems, whether it be personally, as an individual within the family, dealing with your work. So you had a lot of things build up over time, correct?
Yeah, it was difficult at home. My now ex-wife and I, we were struggling together. We were young parents. We were both in the nursing field, and after I started dealing with all of these deaths, I would take it home, and to forget, I would drink. I would drink to be happy. I would drink to be normal. I would drink to forget. And it became such a problem that I developed this habit to, like, anytime I was at home, to feel normal, to feel like I was part of the family, I had to tie one on. And
right.
It became such a problem that I started doing it just to feel normal all the time.
And for a lot of people too, because I have patients that either have first responder sons or daughters, or people that they know personally, and I have a mother in thought in particular, where she went and visited her son and his wife, and she just noticed little habits changing and his mood changing, and how he, she went downstairs, and then all of a sudden she found all these bottles of vodka, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're ashamed of that.
Mm-hmm.
While you're doing it, and you don't want people to know why you're doing it or what you're dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
So I think for a lot of the audience too, so you had done things to help yourself. Like you said, the EMDR, the tapping, sound therapy, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But it just wasn't enough. So then your demon of alcoholism kind of overtook you and went, gonna go a little bit further with this one. And it's and it's illegal, right?
Yeah.
So that's the huge thing in society. It's such a socially accepted habit that we don't even recognize, or we fail to recognize that sometimes it's used as a crutch. A lot of times it is.
Yeah, it really is. And it's on every TV commercial. It's on every corner. It's at every gas station. You can get these bottles, or little shooters. You can get your drug of choice very, very easily. Now, I met a lot of other people that had addictions to other things, illegal things, and they still find what they want and what they need very easily. So alcohol being one of the hardest things to quit, I also learned a lot from other people that could still find their drug of choice very easily, depending on your situation and where you live, your community. It could be on every street corner as well. So.
And why do you think, what led you? So, you have been working on yourself and then you just attached yourself to alcohol. So, let them understand, because there's a lot of people that struggle with the concept of, okay, I'm going to go start working on myself. I'm going to do talk therapy. I'm going to do all this stuff. And then they just let that one thing slip through the crack. So what exactly triggered that? What was that about?
I think it was just, the feeling of normalcy, being around family who continued to drink even through my struggles. They didn't stop, and I'll quote one family member, "We don't have a problem, so why should we stop?" And that was probably one of the hardest pills to swallow, because that was an extremely close family member who's not able to limit themselves because another loved one is struggling with it.
Right. So there was no support system for you. So you were surrounded by it. So it was almost like you say, it was a normalcy. And I think addiction in society, like with families or friends, we don't even correlate that brain sinking value of, oh, wow, we're slipping into something that they're doing. So you had something really traumatic happen that you shared with me. And it was so traumatic because you were at this point in your life where everything built up. Here you were using the alcohol. Your family life was going down the tubes. And literally you just said, I can't do it.
Yep.
So tell us about that, because there are pivotal moments in people's lives that really takes a lot of courage to talk about.
Yeah, so I actually had a sponsor for a while, and every time I would relapse, I would say, oh, I hit rock bottom. And he's like, you can still go lower. And
exactly. 6 feet under.
I didn't believe him. I did not believe him. I was like, well, I have my family. I have a job. I have this. I have that. But I continued every time, and I kept going lower. It got to the point where I got a DUI. I crashed my truck. I crashed my truck with one of those family members' things. A lot of their things, we were actually helping them move into our house because they were struggling where they were living, paying extreme amount of rent in an expensive neighborhood.
Colorado is so expensive.
It is, and right out.
What part of Colorado was it?
They were outside of Denver. And we were in the Southwest, so in Durango, so much more affordable. We brought them into our home. I got him a job with my handyman company. He was making better money and paying less rent because of things that I helped out.
So you were doing nursing and you were doing the handyman thing. So you were doing both.
Yeah, I was doing both. I actually stopped working as a nurse shortly before I went into rehab. I stopped working as a nurse before my DUI, and I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it anymore. The night shift, 2 young kids. I was getting about 1 to 2 hours of sleep a day on my days of work.
Not taking care of yourself at all.
No, completely neglecting myself, and I took care of everybody else around me. Because
Mm-hmm.
I thought that if they were happy, I would be happy.
And that's not the truth,
No,
as we know.
no.
You have to be happy with yourself.
Mhm.
So when the DUI happened, what triggered you? Like, what happened in your brain that you went, oh my God, did this really happen? Because you had to have had
Mhm.
one of those oh my God moments.
Yeah, I wish that I had died in that accident. It was really tough. I didn't want to be the shameful person that got a DUI and crashed. I didn't want to be the person that had to go to rehab. I didn't want to be the person that lost his family. I didn't want to be the person that doesn't get to see his kids.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, my bar for rock bottom got even lower.
Mm-hmm.
I hit the rock bottom to where I did have to go to rehab. I did get a divorce. You know, I still don't see my kids to the point where I wish I could. I talk to them every day. I speak to them. We do FaceTime. But I'm working on trying to save up money on flights so I can go see them more often. You know, I'm almost 21 months sober now.
That is awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm very happy for you.
Thank you.
Very happy.
It was not an easy road. It's still not an easy road. I thought once I got sober I would be happy, but I'm still not happy. The only thing that I can do is continue to move forward, continue to walk, continue to keep moving my feet, and just keep my head up. Because, you know, if you look up to the sky and ask, why me? Or look down at your feet, you're going to trip.
Did you find your faith?
I did find my faith. I actually was baptized at my church about 2.5 months ago.
Nice. Because I found you through my client.
Yeah.
And as we know, she went through. She's very successful, but she went through some hard struggles herself, and really got a lot closer to God.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, don't you think maybe this happened to get you a little bit closer to God?
I do believe that. I do believe that 100%. The funny thing is, I was an agnostic person for a very long time. I'm a very scientific person.
I can tell. Yeah, you're all up here. You're all cerebral.
If it doesn't add up, like, you know, a math problem, or, you know, if I can't see the basic science of it, then it doesn't make sense to me, and I write it off. So now that I have found my faith, I'm starting to believe in these miracles. I'm starting to believe that everything happens for a reason, and this did all happen for a reason. I am a grateful alcoholic. You will hear that in the AA rooms. I'm grateful because I learned how to live again. I learned how to be a father again. I learned how to be a coworker again. I learned how to be a son, you know, a loving person again.
Yeah, because, I mean, one of the common things that people always talk about is being a functional alcoholic.
Mm-hmm. There's nothing functional about it.
Exactly, you're existing.
You're just merely existing.
So now you're living. Now you're getting to know you. So you had said, "Yeah, I'm still not happy yet." What do you think you're going to be working on in 2025 to actually find more of that happiness along with your faith? Are you going to be learning even more about your faith? Are you going to be kind of journeying out and doing some new things? What's on the radar?
I think being a better father, being more present, even though I speak to them all the time, I want to be there. I want to be with them. So being able to fly out and see them, or fly them here to be with me and my parents, so that they can be with their dad and their grandparents, I think is going to be one of the biggest things. I've always been a big fisherman. And actually last night I caught one of the biggest fish in my life.
Nice. What did you catch?
I caught a gigantic snook. It had to have been over 40 inches.
We have a lot of them. Yes.
We do, but we don't have a lot of those 40 inches. It was, I didn't actually get a picture of it, but I did get to hold it for a second. And, you know, I thank God for that.
Yeah.
To have that experience.
Enjoying in the moment, enjoying something that you love, and then eventually getting your kids down here to Florida. You think you'll stay in Florida? Is that the plan?
Yeah, I think so. You know, in the AA rooms, you'll hear changing people, places, and things. Initially, when I started going to AA, I was a little bit defiant against that, you could say. I didn't want to change the place. I didn't want to change the people. But I knew I needed to change some things.
Out of fear?
Out of fear, yeah. I always imagined that, you know, ever after story where everybody lived happily and you get married once and you grow old with that one person. And I learned that, you know, we have people in our lives that might leave our story, but they were there for a purpose. Through some of your chapters.
Well, yeah, exactly. And going back to the whole scientific thing, I mean, do you think that has a lot to do with fear? Because I talk to a lot of people that they have to be that black and white person. They have to see it to believe it. So a lot of this situation that occurred, and it's funny how you went into the nursing field to help people, because it can be a very frightful place with some people that you've come in contact with, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
But this is really stemming from fear. So it's overcoming fear, correct?
Yeah, and now that you draw the lines from dot to dot, it does make a little bit more sense that I was very fearful.
Did you grow? Just, you know, because now I'm really diving into some personal stuff. Did you grow up like that? Did you grow up not going to church, or not growing up believing that you had to be this person, or you know, you had to have some kind of stature, or you were programmed? Because I talked to a lot of my clients about a lot of different things. And it seems to me that in society, we're programmed. Like you said, you grow up, you play sports, you're creative, music, whatever. You have to be socially accepted to fit in, which is all wrong. Because why should we fit in? We should be different. We should be ourselves, right?
We really should.
So maybe going through this whole experience, has it shown some light on the way you grew up? Did you reflect a lot on your childhood?
I'm still working with my therapist on getting into the nitty gritty of my childhood, but I did have a good childhood. I had my loving parents who, you know, they're still married. I had ice hockey, which I played from yay high to all the way through college. And I think society has actually gotten us programmed to follow this, you know, map of you need to do this to be successful. You need to do this. You need to go to college. You need to get a degree. You need to play sports. You need something to do outside of your learnings. And even school is, you know, they don't teach real life in school. They teach, you know, the basics, and they teach the basics to the point where, you know, we're all very basic.
I wanted to do this show today to really inspire people because a lot of people are very afraid to talk about the real stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're afraid to be themselves.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like it took me a really long time, believe it or not, to just go, what are you afraid of? You know, you want to do this, this, and this, go for it. Okay. You might not be there yet. It doesn't mean you're not going to get there, but you at least have to start out doing something.
Right.
Okay. To get there. So I've learned that my faith has become a lot stronger over the years and propelling me to move forward in the right direction. So I think for a lot of younger people listening to this, it's going to be really important for them because people don't teach this. They don't show kids, like, hey, it's okay if you're not the best athlete. It's okay if you're not the best writer, speaker, whatever. You know, at least try things. You don't have to be the best. But what would you say have been the 5 fundamental things that has made you trying to find you? Like, what defines Taylor?
Right off the bat, I would say honesty. Being honest with yourself and the people around you, because wearing a mask, you become a person for other people, not for yourself. So be honest. Love. You know, you have to find something you love or find people that you love, and if you're honest with them, they will love you back.
Right. And if they don't, well, then they're not your people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, find other people. You know, you're not trying to please them. You're trying to please yourself.
Okay.
Faith. Have faith in what is going on around you. Believe in yourself most of all. Because if you don't believe in yourself, you're not going to believe in anything.
And no one's going to believe in you.
Right.
Right? I mean, I told you over lunch or breakfast or whatever we had that I literally picked up the phone one day and I said, well, I want to do a franchise in Eastern medicine and Western medicine, which you're going to be involved in eventually.
I hope so. I would love to.
I'm very excited about this because I want to create a positive environment for people. Come in and it's not work. It's fun. It's play. You're there. You're on fire, and you're doing nothing but being happy.
That's
it. And I woke up one day and I said, okay, you've had this vision for 10 years. So pick up the phone and call your investor and just be like, I'm ready. I'm not afraid anymore. And this is the idea. This is the plan.
That's right.
Let's go. So what would you say would be your thing? Like when you come into my franchise and do stuff, like what would be, because, you know, here you've been in that environment that, you know, was not conducive for your mental health. You did really great things, which of course, you know, you're not the fixer. You're not the person that's going to quote unquote heal them. If it's their time, it's their time. But what would you do now, diving back into the medical field?
Honestly, I would probably say counseling.
Counseling. Okay, so
like not just.
It's interesting. So now
it is.
You go from all this experience to now counselor. Okay.
Yeah, teaching people my story and telling them the way to live, or giving them a roadmap, or just some basic principles to live for. Some tools. Because everybody has a struggle. Everybody has a struggle. It doesn't matter if they are the richest person in the world or the poorest. Everybody has something that, you know, they're not living for themselves, and that's holding them back.
Yeah. And your story makes you you. Your story is what empowers people to listen to you, to learn from you. I'm writing a book right now.
Yeah.
And so that, a lot of my struggles are to motivate and to teach people and to aim for the stars and don't look back and go, oh, what was me, and have regrets and all this kind of stuff, right? Because if you regret something, that means it never existed for a reason. Like you said, everything happens for a reason. So this is kind of came full circle for you.
It has. It really has.
And what would you say now, because you're so scientific? So now you're kind of diving off from that, oh, I'm so scientific, to what actually led you to go to church?
Well, my parents, it was kind of one of those fake it till you make it situations. Like, I'll go to church. Like, that'll be my meeting while I'm here with them. And the pastor just, for several weeks in a row, spoke directly to me. Yeah. And I got a good message out of every single sermon. And, my belief, it's still not 100% just the Christian way. I have many other beliefs. I still have, this modified Christianity that I believe in, but that's mine. Spiritual. It is mine. Spiritual. Yeah. Okay. And it's not everybody's. It's not for everybody. Whatever you believe in, just believe in it strongly. Mm-hmm. Exactly. So, what have been the high points of realizing that spirituality now? Like just a little bit. Be present. Yeah. Be present. That's why they put the cell phones away. Don't always Yeah. Yeah. Not just put the cell phone away and be present in your surroundings, but also, don't future trip, because anxiety they're just dividends on something bad that hasn't even happened yet. So you're paying forward for something that hasn't even happened. So stop worrying, have faith, and be present. Stop trying to regret things from the past, because that's in the past. It got you here. And if you, I learned this really awesome saying. I don't know if I can say the word on your podcast, but if you have one foot in the back and one foot in front of you, then you're pissing on the present. Yes, this is true. So, this is very true. It is. It's very true. And I think for a lot of people, including myself even, I have to stop every once in a while. Actually physically tell myself, you have to slow down. Yeah. And because I've done interviews before you today, where we were kind of talking about adrenal exhaustion, which you had. Where your endocrine system just totally shut down, and, you weren't taking care of your body, and it was nope, not doing it. So I think for a lot of people, they have to understand that, like he's saying, you want to do so many things, which I'm working on a lot of projects myself, but you can't get it all in one day. No. And why would you want to? Because it kind of takes the fun out of it, right? Yeah. I used to look for Christmas presents before Christmas Day. Yeah. And, I ruined a lot of good surprises for myself. Yeah. So you're not gonna look anymore. I'm not gonna look anymore. That's good. I'm just gonna. I'm gonna have plans. I'm not gonna have goals, or I'm not going to not have goals. You're not going to stay idle. Yeah, I'm not going to stay idle. I'm going to have things that I'm striving towards, but if they don't happen in the way that I want them to, I'm not going to be upset about it. Right.
So what basically doesn't work out for you sometimes actually enables you to do something better.
Exactly.
So, and that, that's another message that I wanted to get out today through interviewing you is that, look, you had all these plans destined to, be this nurse and have all this education and be in a hospital setting and probably work, 25, 35 years, which I just interviewed a nurse of 33 years. And, she used to come in and tell me all the time, like, wow, this is really burning me out because the system isn't set to thrive.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
So now you're thriving and now you're alive.
I am.
Yeah. So, well, very good. Well, I had a lot of fun interviewing you, and I hope you come back, and I hope we can interview you here in about a year from now and see where you are. But, and just, lastly, speaking about the addiction stuff, because I do have an addiction series that I am doing, and you're actually one of the first people that I interviewed because it is so important that people talk about these things. I just see so many people feeling ashamed, like you said, and people shouldn't feel ashamed because things happen, whether it be alcohol, cigarettes, opioids, cocaine, whatever. A lot of people, there's so many things in society, depending upon where you live. If you live in Miami, the crazy partiers on the east coast of Florida, and the more money you have, the worse it can be.
It can.
Right?
It really can.
So, but, in today's society, addiction and trauma go hand in hand. And that is something where we need to start talking about that with people, start helping people, start loving on people, and inviting them in. And nobody has to be 100%, right? I mean, you can go out and, you can now be in, because I noticed that, you can be around people in that setting, and you're okay now.
I am.
And that takes some big self-awareness and strides. So you're not coming from a place of judgment, but now you're coming from a place of, okay, if there are people struggling, I'm going to be a sponsor for them. Correct?
Yep. I will sponsor people. I will go through the steps with them. But yeah, if you do have an addiction, if you are struggling, it's time to find out what that is telling you and where you should go from here. So
why it happened.
Because
you came from a great childhood, but then you were in a setting where you probably never even thought would even trigger anything.
Right.
But now because you're going into counseling, you wouldn't have found counseling had that not happened. Yeah. So that's really awesome. So thank you, Taylor, for coming today. If people want to find you, do you plan on maybe starting a new business? Doing something?
So I'm still working on getting my nursing license back in action.
Okay.
I have to go through the IPN here in Florida, which is the Intervention Project for Nurses.
Can be a minute.
It can be a minute. I actually have my first appointment with a doctor to engage in a
mental health, pretty much overall.
Yeah, he said it's a several-hour interview, and we're going to go from the moment I was born to now to my future, and see, what kind of nurse I can be now that I'm sober.
Right.
Or, it's not just for people that are sober now, but it's to also help people get sober. So getting my nursing license back, regaining my strength in the health and wellness of of nursing. So doing the IVs again and getting back in
IV therapy.
IV therapy,
Yeah.
vitamins, taking care of yourself, and then, talking with my patients. Maybe not being like a licensed counselor, but just offering my story and offering my assistance and letting them know that I'm there for them if they need to talk. So, yeah.
Communication.
Yeah.
So if anybody is listening today that is struggling, that wants to find you, that maybe wants to like contact you, that says, hey, he's in AA, he's doing this stuff, he's doing the work, I really need to find somebody to help me. Because we're in the Inglewood, Florida area, which on the map, I always say between Sarasota, Fort Myers, because no one knows where we're at.
Right, exactly.
So if they want to find you, how do they find you?
Well, I can give you my information.
You can say it.
Well, taylor.j.dustin@gmail.com, or you can call or text me at 954-901-1531.
And you're at the point now where you can sponsor people and invite them in and stuff like that.
Yeah, and if you just need to talk, let's talk.
There you go. There you go. Well, anyway, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Until next time.